All right, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I hope you guys are all doing well. My day today is a bright day. Had a lot of interesting things to do to make my day productive, and also, as you work, as you do different things, you should not forget the aspect of refreshing your mind and just keeping yourself active for the day. One thing that I really see happening a lot of times is we tend to forget, and then we work 24/7, and then we forget to relax our mind. And then for people who are into IT, programming, and doing a lot of freelancers, they do have a lot of times to relax. For example, let's say they want to watch a movie, they want to take a walk, they want to go swimming. So as you do your daily stuff, give it a week. No, give some times during the week, and then you just create a space where you can relax, and then you can do other brain relaxing activities. It's not just about you working and working and working. So once again, my name is Cedric, and I'll be your instructor for tonight. And then as our training is going on, I'm pretty sure you guys are learning it so much and loving it. I also want to appreciate everybody who are able to join the Slack channel. And I was seeing a lot of DMs coming in and people interacting and people commenting on notes and stuff, which is really good. And the main purpose of this is for us to be able to learn all these tools so that we are able to really survive and then make it out there in the gig economy, because it's a huge, huge economy that we need to harness it by all means. So tonight, I'm going to be able to go together with you on the introduction to website development. This is a very interesting topic, and I wouldn't want you to miss. I wouldn't want you to be able to miss. And we're going to go through for like an hour, just like how Israel shared in the morning that he would love to have 2 hours with the morning session. And today we're going to have 1 hour, but where need be, if we start the sessions of coding, we might have to adjust our timing a little bit, but not today, just to make sure we're able to learn, we're able to really grasp this information, because truth be told, I just want to give you a teaser on web development. Different people are learning web tools and how to build websites, but the truth is, this is a skill that if you are in the gig economy, or if you are a young person willing to see how to survive, you need to have a skill in web development, because it is a skill that is no longer a very higher end professional people would love to have, but it's a skill that you need to know. You need to have it, because people need services, people need different IT things, but then people need to build websites. You want to run your own website, so it's good to have all this. So I'll be ready to answer any questions that comes. In case you have a question, you're just going to feel free, and then you're going to ask. So let's get started for tonight, and I hope we're going to learn something today. So we're going to just go through the outline of our slides. We have about 10 slides that I want to really give us the bigger picture behind what is this website that we're talking about. So we have an introduction to website development. There is, what is a website itself, and then there is types of websites that people build. We're going to talk about and run across the time, and then we're going to look at introduction to HTML, a little bit introduction to CSS, and then a little bit introduction to JavaScript. We're not going to write the code for JavaScript now. We're not going to write this code, but I just want to introduce it so that we are able to know. And then step by step to building a simple website. So I just want to ask a question before I jump into my first slide. Can someone tell me what a website is? Based on probably maybe your senior 1 or senior 2, can someone just tell me what is a website? Yes, Marcy.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah.
So, what I understand by a website is an online portal that shows, that gives a variety of information concerning a certain company.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, giving information pertaining a particular company, which is on the internet. Perfect. Yes. Any other person? A collection of web pages. Yes. Yes, Daniel. You're presenting the gentleman. Yes.
Yeah. How I understand the website is just a combination of web pages which are connected.
Combination of web pages which are connected. Perfect. So now let me, someone says related web pages located under single domain. This is nice. Single domain, typically produced by a single person or organization. Correct, Gabi? I think it's the internet-based platform that gives information about a business or a person. Very correct. Now I want to base on the first two. One, the lady talked about, she explained it in a very simple way that anyone can understand. So when my brother Gabi said, I think not Gabi, Daniel, it says a collection of web pages. So that is also a good explanation of a technical explanation of what a website literally is. So let us get started, and we see. So we're going to look at some tools that we're going to use. This one, I'll say it last, and then we shall get back to this one. So, we're going to learn the objectives of introduction or to web development is for us to learn the basics of building websites from scratch. When you talk about from scratch, it means you're going to start from zero. You're going to start from writing the first line of code and then hosting your code that you've written. And then we're going to learn what websites are. At the end of this, you're going to learn what is actually a website. Then two, you're going to learn the key tools needed for building websites. And then, of course, the basics of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So let me just give you what HTML is. Sorry, I don't have it written down on the slide here, but I'll be able to hide it before I share. So HTML is simply hypertext markup language. So HTML is not one of the types of programming language. It's a markup language, a language that helps you to structure, documents, that helps you to structure different web content online. Now, if you want to write a text, maybe you want to write a text, let's say my name is Cedric, you want to write Cedric, you'll use what we call HTML. For now, I'm going to say it's a language, but it's not on the class of the different programming languages. It's a markup language, not the type of programming language. So you use HTML to write the document. Now, if you want the document to look a bit nicer, so let me just put HTML is hypertext markup language. So I've just sent it on chat just for your references. And then if you want the website to look a bit interesting, the beauty, everything, you call it CSS. You use what you call CSS. So CSS is what we call cascading style sheet. So it's called cascading style sheet, which is used to style the different things we're doing online, the code we're writing, to make it look more appealing. Sorry. And then the last one is JavaScript. So JavaScript is a programming language that helps our website to be more interactive, more user-friendly, and it makes you feel the vibe of using a particular website. So that's a JavaScript. Now, let us get started on our first. So what is a website that we've just talked about in our previous stuff? So website basically is a collection of web pages that can be accessed through the internet using a web browser. And when you talk about web pages, you see when there's a website that is running online, you find that there is homepage, there is about us page, there is service page, contact page. Now, a website is a collection of those pages. Those are what we call web pages. So when you bring all the web pages together, they make up a website. And we can only access a website using a web browser. So someone might ask that, let me ask the question. So how many web browsers do we know? Can we give examples of some web browsers that we know? Web browsers. Just put them in the chat section, or you can just unmute your microphone. Yes, Jumbe. Can you give us some examples of web browsers? Someone is saying Chrome.
Yeah, we have Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and Brave, and more.
Perfect. We have Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Brave, and name it. There's a joke that we make, Opera, someone said Opera. There's a joke because programmers prefer using Chrome to do their coding and everything because Chrome supports a lot of programming features. So someone says, what do you use Mozilla Firefox for? And someone says, we use it for downloading Chrome. when you set up your machine, the first thing you do with Mozilla Firefox, you make sure you download Chrome, and then the work starts from there. Simply because these are IT people, and they prefer Chrome because it's more versatile, and then it's one of those best browsers. Though they're good browsers like Brave are used for people in the programming field. So we have web browsers that you use to access websites. Now, someone might ask a question: is Google a web browser or what? Google is not a web browser. It's a search engine. So for you to be able to use a search engine itself, like Google is a search engine, there's Bing is a search engine. I think Yahoo also has their search engines that you use to access things online. And then those search engines also run on the browsers, which includes people like Chrome. Now, web pages are documents written using HTML, as we said earlier on, which is hypertext markup language. That is the language they use for writing all these web pages. And it's across the world. It doesn't change. It's everywhere. And we understand that each web page contains things like text, images, videos, or different links. Each web page will always contain all that detail, depending on the content that you want it to go there. So, and then we understand that web pages are stored. When you build all these pages, let's say you have home page, about page, and all these people, they are stored in what we call web servers. Now, servers, they sit in different places around the world. They can be in China, they can be in USA, they can be in, you can even have a server in your room. So when all these things we're going to build, we're going to see how they work. Where do they sit? How do they access it? How do we, at the end of the day, have the capacity to say that, okay, I have a website running, and then this is how it's operating. So they all sit on web servers. And then we can browse them like Chrome, as someone said, Firefox, Safari, Edge, Brave, and so forth. Those are, and Tor. Tor is also Tor is also a web browser. Now, for my recommendation on the one we need to use in this class in particular, I think might also apply for the other classes. Chrome is very ideal. Chrome is Google Chrome, literally. So Google Chrome is a very good one that we are going to be able to use in the process of our learning. And then if you have Firefox, please don't uninstall it. You can let it be there. If you have Safari, you can as well use it. But then there are some features that is only going to be available in Google Chrome for development. Examples of websites includes like google.com. When you go to google.com is a website. We have Facebook is a website, which is a social networking platform. We have Amazon. Let us don't go far. We all have different things that you have seen. You have government of Uganda, they have a website and so forth. And even organizations, they have websites. So that is basically what a website is. So in a nutshell, a website is a collection of web pages accessible through the internet. It cannot be a website if it's just on your machine and you're the only person accessing it. No, it has to be on the web. So we use hypertext markup language to work on it. And then we can access a website using browsers like Chrome, Firefox, or Safari, and so forth. And what we're doing right now, we're using, can someone tell me the website where Google Meet is running from? Can someone tell me? Just by looking through what we're doing right now, can someone tell me the exact link where we're accessing Google Meet from? Okay, so if you look very well to if you're using your computer or you're using a phone, you're going to see on the URL where you search, you're going to see meet.google.com. That is the website. And right now we're using Google Meet as a website to do our service, to be able to train ourselves. So that's basically what a website is. Then we're going to look at the different types of websites. There are so many websites that everybody is building there. And then they have different types. Don't lie yourself that, oh, I'm a web developer, I can build any kind of website. No, there is always a particular domain of website that you can be good at. Then two, you can be good at all of them as well. So we're going to look at the different types of websites that are available that people can build. Number one, we have static websites. Now, static websites, this includes simple pages with fixed content. For example, let's say you have a company, let's say a company website. Most of them, 80% of them probably might be static. The reason why it's static is because, I wish I could access one of the websites and I show how static it is. So the reason why it's static is because it has fixed content and the content doesn't change unless it's manually updated. Now, an example is if I take you to, let me see which website. Let me just get a website here. Normally, okay. I'll just try to get any website. Let me see a static website. ARD. Yes, perfect. So I'm going to open this website so that we're able to see it. Let me share this tab instead. All right, so this website you see here was developed using WordPress that Israel is taking you through. So this was one of the websites that sometimes back we worked on. So this is what you call a static website because every content on this website is actually static. They don't change by themselves. They change if I go to my code. If I look at my code, let me just try to inspect so that you see how the code looks like, how it was probably written. If I inspect the code, this is the code for this web. Please don't be scared. Someone will be like, this is a lot of code to see. So if I look at this code, if I look at this code, if I want anything to be changed on my website, I will manually go to the code or to the back end of my system and then change it. And then people are able to see or to access it. Now, that is an example of a static website. The second one is dynamic websites. Now, dynamic websites is a type of websites where content actually change based on user interaction. Content always changes. The best example of a dynamic website is Facebook. Now, Facebook, if you go post something right now, you're going to see people are going to interact with it, people are going to like it, people are going to comment on it. Now, that is the user interaction. And then in most cases, dynamic websites are normally backed up by huge databases. They have a very big database at the back end of it all. They need a lot of people to interact with it. And then we have another type, which is e-commerce websites. And these are websites that help us to do online shoppings. These are online shopping websites that we can interact with, buy products online, interact with them, and they sell products. An example, we have eBay, we have Jumia, we have Amazon, and this kind of websites, they have a lot to do with a lot of databases, a lot of users interacting, and it has a lot of security enforcement. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you an example, a real life example on this. When you build such websites, e-commerce websites, you need to be very, very certain of the security. That is why in this training, we train you all kinds of skill sets. There's a time we built a website, which is an e-commerce website, and then running on very well. Later did we know that there was someone trying to hack the website on the back end. So, and the hack was coming from Korea. So what happened is the website was hacked, and then the images on the website couldn't be seen. You can see text, you cannot see images. And you know, e-commerce, if you can't see images, there is no point of using that. So it became so hard for us to even navigate through how the website was hacked. How did they get into it? Why did it be hacked from such a country or Korea? So what we had to do, we had to rebuild everything afresh. So that is why we encourage safety. Very, very key. When you're doing on, you know, gig economy and everything, safety is paramount to make sure everything is safe. The last one we have blogs, personal or business journals, which is the best way to write a blog is to use WordPress, which Israel is taking us through. And also we're going to learn, but not too detailed on how you can do blogs using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and stuff like that, because there are points where you will need to use that. There are points where you need to use WordPress. There are points where you need to use the different platforms. So it depends on which one is going to deliver. It depends on what needs to be delivered. Then you see, okay, I think WordPress is going to help me faster on this. And I think code is going to do well on this. So that you're going to get through. So now the question is, what is web development? So web development is a process of creating websites. It's a process of creating, designing, and maintaining a website. Now, we talk about so many things. You find that people say, I'm a web developer. And then can someone give me the difference between a web developer and a web designer? Is there a difference between the two? Can someone give me a difference? Yes, Daniel.
Yeah, a web developer and a web designer. The difference is for a developer starts from scratch, but for the designer designs some templates. That's the way I understand it.
Okay. Great. Ilda, seeing your hands up.
Good evening. I believe a designer is someone who puts up a template or something that a user could see and wants. And then a developer is someone who brings it to life, because what the designer does, it's like drawing and what is something is supposed to look, bring it life. It's a sketch of what I want, a frame of what I want. And then the developer uses the code to bring it to life.
Thank you for the submission. Thank you for the submission. So I'm going to go with yes, I'm seeing comments coming in here that web design and development differs in focus. Web design focuses on the look and the feel of the website. Web development focuses on bringing that look and feel life using programming languages. Good. Then Lou, let's say developer uses code while designer creates the design. Thank you. Web developer is responsible for writing code that enables a website's functionality, while a designer focuses on the aesthetic aspect of overall user. Thank you so much. You guys you're so brilliant. So yes, thank you for that. So let me give the difference. So there is being a web designer, that is putting how the website looks. How will this website look to people? And that is normally the first step. Now, web designers are people, they might not even know code. They might not even know how to write code. All they do is sit down on their computers using maybe designing softwares like Adobe XD, Figma, maybe even Canva, you can use it, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator majorly, and then they really put out, what is this website supposed to look like? Should it have a blue color here? Should it have a green color there? Should it have a yellow, pink, whatever? So they pay attention to the looks. How is it going to look? Now, you don't even need to know code to be a web designer. Now, once you do that, there is a web developer that jumps on the board. Now, a web developer is that one person that actually understands that this is how code is written. Now, for me to bring to life what was designed, for example, I can design the website and I give it to you, please write for us the code of this website. So that is where the developer comes in. So the designer, they focus on the visual appearance and the user experience. We call them UX and UI. So there's what we call UI, which is user interface, stroke UX, which is the user experience of the website. So in a nutshell, if there is a website that needs to be worked on and your company is the one handling, you're the one handling, you tell them, okay, we have two phases in building this website. So we have web designing and web development. Now, for clients mostly disturb because sometimes they have no idea on what the web should look like. So the first thing you can do, go ahead and design it without code, how it will look. Then you show them so that they verify the design. Once they verify the design, which is what you call user interface, stroke the UX, which is user experience, you can now start the process of coding. The biggest challenge to coders is they tend to start coding without having the idea of what to code. Tomorrow you find them, the button is green. The next day is yellow. The other day is like, let us remove this image, it's not fitting. So that is so tedious. So we're going to learn the aspect of being a designer and then being a developer. It is good when you're both of these things because you design it and then you develop it. But also if you want to really specialize and say, I am a full-time designer, UX, UI designer, meaning you only design concepts for people. And people who design are very creative, even more than the developers. Because the developers, you develop what you're seeing. You say, okay, let me put the button here, green and stuff like that. So you can use designing softwares like Adobe XD. There's Figma, which is a very renowned application people use worldwide for designing UIs. I've just sent them on the chat. You can explore on those softwares, and most of them work online, except for Photoshop. Photoshop, I think I don't know if it has an online version, but I would recommend Figma, there is Sketch, and Adobe XD. Those three are the best for you to design any kind of websites. I've seen people who are building an application which has about 20 to 50 different screens. And if you see the work they have done by designing first, you'll be like, wow, I think I need to be participatory in developing this. So then the web developer, you can use tools, different skills that you need. You need how to use, need to know HTML and CSS and JavaScript. And then there are different frameworks that they can use like React, Angular or Bootstrap to really build these websites. And then now for the skills, you also need to be a web developer, which we're going to look into. You need to know some programming languages like Python, PHP. We're going to learn a bit of Python anyway, so thank God for that. And then you need to know some of those tools. And then if you understand the outputs that the web designer is going to bring, one of the outputs is going to be they can produce website mockups. And mockups is simply how something will look at the end of the day. They can produce prototypes. And then now the web developer, the output they bring is they bring live websites. And then they produce working websites. And then what you need to understand about these two people, a web designer needs to just be creative enough. Then a web developer needs to be technical and understands the coding process. So those are the difference between the two, a web designer and a web developer. Web developer focuses on how the website works. Web designer is how it will look, something like that. So I'm pretty sure that was a good explanation for that. So, and then now we're going to look at the main stuff, the main two things now. So this is where some of you are going to be like, I think I need to focus on this part. So as I take you through this part, you need to be understanding, okay, where should my focus be when I say I'm going to be now a web developer? Should I focus on being a front-end developer or a back-end developer? So let me give you why they will call it front-end and then back-end. Number one, let me start with front-end development. So front-end development, this is a person or this is a stage which focuses on the part of the website users, what they see. What do people who are visiting the website see? Now, in a nutshell, you will agree with me that a person who is actually developing the website, there are two people involved. Now, when you talk about web development, there are two people involved again in the development. Now, that is where it gets complicated. Now, there's a front-end developer and then a back-end developer. Now, a front-end person is a person who designs what the designer has done. For example, you have designed the work. I am going to what? Bring it to code. I'll design very nice flow. The button is clicking. Everything is working very well. The flow is amazing. And I'll use tools like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to make sure the users really love them. When they see the websites, will be like, wow, whoever did this work did an amazing job, did the best. So that is what a front-end developer is. So they focus on what people see. Now, the first impression that someone will ever get when they go to a website is how it looks. So meaning the front-end developers, they are our God, or they are the people that makes the dream come true. They're the people that makes, first of all, the impression of the website look appealing. So now that is the direction that all of us, we are running to right now in this learning of website development. We want to be good at being front-end developers. Now, that is number one. Number two, we have the back-end. Now, back-end, as the name suggests, before I say back end, now front end people, they build things like buttons, they put images, they put forms that you interact with, they put the navigation bars and all the things. Even right now, as we are on Google Meet, everything you're seeing right now has been the work of a front end person. Now, you're seeing different people joining in the platform, how the images are, how my PowerPoint is displaying, how the recording is going on. All this is front end. Now, the bigger picture that we don't see are the people who are on the back end. First of all, you don't see their work. Their work is not visible to anybody. Their work is not visible. Now, the back-end people, clear and concise explanation. Thank you so much, Kintu, for that. So the back-end people, you don't see them. First of all, they don't even be in the lights. They're nowhere to be seen in the lights. Now, they focus on the server. They focus on the databases. They focus on the logic that powers the website. They focus on making sure that this website is actually working. If you click a button on a website, what makes it work is the work of a back-end designer or a developer. Where that button leads us, if you go to a website and you're going to create an account and then it prompts to you, enter your username, password, what, that is front end. Now, when you click the button to submit, that is where back end starts. Back end starts by saying, let us verify if this email is correct. Let us verify if this username is not matching any other username there. 3, let us save this data in our database. 4, let us process this data and make sure the person is able to log in when they come back. 5, let us make sure all this data is stored in one place. Now, that is the heaviest work you find that a backend editor or a backend developer is doing. And these are people you don't see. Some of you are using, right now we're using Google Meet. We're using Google Meet. And then the people who have done the work of now making sure, first of all, you can hear me, and not even the front end people. These are the back end people. The people who have done the work to make sure that you are seeing my computer from here is not the front end person. These are the back end people. So let's just give a round of applause to any back end person, anyone who wants to be a back end person here. Let's just give a hand clap for them. All of us are very important, but these people play a big role to making sure that everything happens. So last time we were learning how to clap. Now I'm seeing someone is raising up their hands instead of clapping. Okay, guys, let's first clap. Let's first clap. Let's don't raise our hands, but let's clap. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for clapping. Yes, some people are now taking it extreme. Anyway, thank you. So that is now the backend. Now, in backend, now that is where programming languages come in. So programming languages like Python, PHP, Node.js, JavaScript is also a programming language that can also do backend. We have other programming languages like R programming language. We have programming languages like, can we name them? Any other programming languages? I'm told there are like so many. Can someone just tell me any programming language I didn't mention? Or you can just put it in the chat. Programming languages that I didn't mention. C programming language. If some of you out there, you want to explore the field of robotics, you want to learn robotics and how things work, go and learn C programming. There's C++. Yes, Daniel, thank you. C++ is also good. People use it even for developing applications. We have languages like Java. Now, Java runs so many apps on your phone right now. Java runs a lot of apps, though there are many better apps that are coming up and is overtaking Java. We have things like MySQL. Yes, MySQL is also a language for databases. For databases in particular. So in a nutshell, those are the things that the back-end people will use to make sure that every website you're interacting with works. You might ask yourself, when we submit in our data, where do they go? The back-end people know where they go. So they work with servers, they work with databases, and then the logic that powers the website. So, and then Swift. Yes, Swift. There is Swift programming language, which is used strictly by Apple. So if you want to build Apple products, there is Swift. There is Ruby, programming language, another one called Ruby. So you're going to explore them and learn them, but you don't need to learn all of them. If you learn all of them, you are going to get confused and then you will even not know what to do. And another big problem that I see most people face in programming is when there's a new language that has come up. Let's say today we have Python. Someone will be like, Python is the best. You go learn Python. And then you see this young, innocent person, very passionate about programming. They go to learn Python. And then again, they go for a tech event. And then people are told, you guys, Ara is the best. Ara language is the best. Now, this young man again has to start learning Ara. Now, at the end of the day, this guy knows every language is not good at any of it. Yet, if you know Python and you know Ara very well, you can achieve quite similar goals. But of course, languages come with simplicity. Like Python is quite a very simple language to use compared to Java. I was learning Java in 2018, and then I write about 7 lines of code to print a statement, but I'll write 1 line of code to print a statement in Python. So those are the differences. As time goes by, improvement keeps coming. So let me go to my next slide. So all these things we're talking about, how do we get started? How do we use them? How do we use these tools that work to put the things in place? So one, we have code editors. Code editors includes things like, these are things you use, tools you use to write code, tools you use to make sure that the code is working. Let me open for you one of the tools called VS Code that I ask all of you to download it and install it and running in your computer. So as I talk right now, you should be having VS Code running in your machines. So I'm just going to open VS Code from my side. Let me just share my old screen. I'm going to open VS Code, and then you have a look at how does this look like. Let me share my VS Code screen. Please, the one I'm sharing has a lot of things to do with code. Okay, this is a lot of code. I hope you guys can see my screen. Yes. So don't worry about this. This is some website that I was working on. So this is, let me just open a new one so that we're not new window. Okay. Perfect. So this is VS Code. It's a software we use for writing code. You want to build different code. I will come here. We're going to learn how to navigate through it. Let me just create a new file real quick. Let me just say, open a folder because I have to be in a folder first. Let's create something really quick so that you can see. I come to desktop and I say trial. So I'll open a folder. These steps I'll take you through tomorrow. Then I'll create a file. Then I'll start writing my code. And you see how to, in this file, add a new file, say index.html. All right, so this is my VS Code that I'm going to use for writing my code. So I'm going to start writing my code and I'll be like, this is where my, let's say, title is going to be, let's say, first class. And I write the first class. So this is my code that I'm writing. So VS Code is one of those top editors people use around the world to write code in different languages. This one can write code in about 20 different languages, this VS Code. So it's one of the powerful platforms people use to write code. So I encourage you to download it so that it is going to be very easy for us to work together, write code, and then analyze different things. So that is VS Code. It's called Visual Studio Code. So don't mix it with Microsoft Visual Studio. Microsoft Visual Studio is not just a code editor. It is what we call IDE. So IDE is called Integrated Development Environment. You're going to learn that with time. Maybe in your learning areas, you're going to interface that word. So IDEs, these are very predefined softwares used for writing code. For example, if I want to write Java code, there's already a software developed called NetBeans. I'll use NetBeans to write Java. And it's one of those good best platforms developed by them to write their code. Developed by, of course, different companies called NetBeans and stuff. And then we have Sublime Text that you can also download. Sublime Text. You can download Sublime Text and then you use it for writing code. Now, for our websites to work, we need web browsers. We already talked about this. Without a web browser, your website is not going to work. So if you don't have Chrome in your computer, please download it. If you don't have any web browser in your computer, please download it. Also, I'm going to show you how to practice some of the things using your phone. Because sometimes you're in a taxi, you're stuck in jam, and you just want to learn as you go, time goes. So you can use your phone as well. And then now, the big one is also web hosting. Now, after doing all the things, after editing your code, after dealing with these web browsers, you need to host your website. Your website has to be somewhere where people can access. Now, that is where hosting comes in. This is a place where you store all your website files online for people to access. Then the last one is what we call the version control. Version control is, let's say you're working on a website. You're working on a website, and yesterday you did something in the morning and you have saved it. Then today you started again from here, you saved it. But then you realize that what you did yesterday was actually the best. So you want to go back to the previous version. So you use what you call Git. And this one, we are going to learn it, how to use Git. And Git is, for some of you who love exploring, you can go ahead and go to online and look for GitHub or GitHub and then create an account on GitHub. We shall learn how to use it. Because once you write the code, that is the best place to store your code. For us in programming, we don't store code on our computers. We don't store code on Google Docs. We don't store code on Slack. You store code on GitHub. Just sorry. So we're going to explore this. So these are the really four things we need to know. Key web development tools that you need to have at your fingertip. I am going to share links for all of this to download. I'm going to share links to download Chrome. This one I don't need to share a link. I'm going to hosting. We're going to explore it. Then I'll share a link for you to have GitHub installed in your machine. Sorry, have a bit of flu. So as I said earlier on, I'll just show you a very small hint into HTML. What is exactly is HTML? And then tomorrow we shall start the hands-on session of coding it. Today we're just understanding them. So because to really do something well, you need to understand it first. So hypertext markup language is the building block of websites. This is like our mother. It's like the building block of building any kind of website. And then we're going to use it. And then we're going to look at the key components of, in HTML, we have what we call tags and elements. Those two things, you'll hear them until you finish this course. Tags and then elements. So when we are developing, we have what we call tags that they look like that. There's HTML. We have what we call head. They put them in a tag like that. There's what we call body, which is a tag. And then now we have elements. These are key features that you use that helps you and makes you understand and build your website much more better and easier. Then we have H1. This is for headings. Let's say you want to do different heading styles. There's from H1 up to H6. So when you put H1, you'll see the biggest fonts in your biggest font type. And you see, and then there's paragraph, and then there are images. When you want to use an image, you use such kind of elements. So these are the things we're going to deal with a lot of times. You're going to see them a lot of time. And also, I am going to share a book. We're going to be able to share a book with you, which is PDF. And this book is, let me give you just why this book is important. In 2018. Yes, 2018. I wanted to join in to start doing my IT stuff, but then someone shared with me this book. A person that I really respect shared with me this book that, bro, you know what? Since you're home right now, you can learn website development using this book. So I said it. The book has 400 pages, but the pages I focus on was like less than even 100. Just 400 pages, which gives comprehensive details on website development. So what I did, my aunt was a secretary, so she had some computer at home. I was like, since I'm home now, what can I do? I need to start practicing. So I started learning website development, and the computer was using Windows XP. I don't know why I was using Windows XP in 2018. So it was Windows XP. I started reading this book and learning and learning. So when I joined campus in June, 2018, I already knew HTML, I knew CSS, I only didn't know JavaScript. So in my class, what happens is when the lecturer is teaching, I am always a pro because I knew all these things because I've learned them. So it is quite easy to learn them at your own pace. Then the second one is CSS. Now, we always make a joke and say CSS is the beautiful picture of things. So CSS is cascading style sheets. So they are focused. The only focus of CSS is to make things look nice. Put a style and then make the design look good. That is all they focus on. They don't, first of all, you don't even see CSS. CSS is another group of backend people. You don't see them. You just see their work. You see what they've done. You don't see the code. You just see that, oh, that website looks good because it has a good CSS. Now, CSS, you write them separately. So when you want to style the body, when you want to style a body in CSS, you put their body, then you put a curly braces here. Then you say, I want my background color to be light blue. Now, meaning the body, everything in your website, the body of the website, which you're going to know tomorrow better, will turn to light blue. If I want to change the color to green, I'll just remove this light blue and right here, green. Now it gets complicated when you understand the code in programming. When you understand the code, for example, you want to turn your website into code. I can just say, since I want my website to look white, instead of saying white here, I'll just put code by saying F. I'll put 6 Fs. When you put 6 F, that is white. When you put zeros, 6 of them, that is black color. When I put FF 00000 4 zeros, that is red. So we, the programmers, we know a lot of code by our aid, because if you decide to just say green, you're not going to get the exact color you need. But when you use the code, you get it. Now, when you come here, we have H1. So we want to style this header that we had written sometimes back using here, that we had put here. So we want to style anything that has H1 to look more appealing in a way. So what we do is we come to our CSS. Sorry, let me go to the next. What we do is we come to our CSS and then we say H1, open the bracket, and there's always a closing one. And you say color should be white, and then text align. This text must be align centered. If let's say you want to put a background in that, you can say background color for that should be blue and stuff. So all these stylings, we're going to see them tomorrow as time goes by. So that is just an intro into CSS. And then the last one is the intro into JavaScript. As we talked earlier on, that JavaScript is actually a programming language. This is our programming language. And by the way, for your information, we interact with JavaScript almost 70% of each and every day of our life. Right now, as you're on this call, you are interacting with JavaScript at some point. There is something JavaScript is doing in the background of each and every platform you use. There is always JavaScript somewhere. So JavaScript is a very powerful tool, powerful language that adds interactivity to web pages. If you want to click a button and it appears a certain way, it is JavaScript that will do it. So we have JavaScript that works in buttons that respond when clicked. When a button is clicked, now this is where the backend people comes in. The backend people will do a lot. How things work, how it responds. They have good knowledge in those technologies, languages, and then also sliders or animations. When you see animations on websites, I want to show you this website for Techno Mobile. Mobile website. This is one of those websites I give a lot of respect on how they built it, who built it. It's okay. So this is the Techno website. So I'll just scroll through this website. I don't know if the features I wanted is been changed. Okay, now you see the fonts. These are the display. These are the images of the fonts. So this Techno Mobile website is strictly for Uganda. If you see up there on the URL, I think you can't see it because, yeah, on the URL it's saying technomobile.com/UG. So we are able to see things that pertain to Uganda. There's a very specific feature. Let me see if I can exit the UG part and just go on the main part. Let me go to fonts. Now, are you seeing these animations, how the things are flowing here? Sorry, it keeps taking me to Ugandan. I didn't want to show you the Ugandan version of it. I wanted you to see the main Techno website, how it flows so well, and then you see. So anyway, nonetheless, let's continue on this. share this tab. All right, so JavaScript, as you can see here, JavaScript is actually a programming language, and then it works in button. Then this is how you write the code. It's very simple. You write the code, say alert. My pen is not working. Where's my pen? Color, let's say red. Oh, my pen has stopped working. Okay, good. So when you see here on the alert section, you just say alert, welcome to my website. So when you go to this website, something will pop up and say, welcome to my website. That is JavaScript. So our time has also gone, but I wanted to just make sure we finish this. I think I'm on my last slide before I show you the last thing. So number one, steps to building a simple website. You need to plan. Decide what kind of website do you really want to create. What is it you want? Do you want to build a website for your MP? Do you want to build a website for yourself? Do you want to build a website for who and who? Decide and plan that. I am going to give you a tip. So normally when I want to build websites, there are people I will build websites for them for free. But in the long run, I have a goal. I have a goal to be in their system of payments. I'll just probably go and be like, I think my MP or someone I know, someone influential, these are portfolios. You target them, you'll be like, okay, I think when I build for this guy a website, I need to make him know why does he need a website, how important it is. I'll build it for you for free. I'll not even ask you for money. I'll just go build it, and then I go shoot my shots. I'll be like, bro, I built this website. Sorry, you don't need to call your MP, bro. Honorable, I have built this for you, and I think this is going to help you. First of all, make it look good. It will be very hard for them to say, I don't need it. Two, when you plan for it, start writing the code. Structure the website with HTML. 3, style it with CSS. Make the website look nice using CSS. Make the website look very appealing. The look should be very appealing. Add the interactivity. Use JavaScript to make the website interactive, and then you're going to test and publish the website to put it online. Those are the steps you need to put in the back of your mind when you start all these processes. So I am going to welcome any question for now, as I'm going to show you the last part of what I wanted to show you tonight. So is there any question?
Yeah, my question is about when you talked of HTML not being a programming language, yet there is somewhere you can make a button, and when someone clicks a button, it takes you to another page. So how is that one not a programming language? I'm still confused there.
So HTML is a markup language. They help you to structure. Content. It's more like a content structure. So you'll not see it's very rare, or you will go to other websites, they'll tell you it's a programming language. But yes, Israel, you can throw a little bit light there.
Okay, so the difference between the other languages and programming languages do tell computers what to do. Okay, so if you click on a website and it does something, I explained in the morning section that think of a building. HTML is like the structure of the building. CSS is like when they put the walls, I don't know what they call it, plaster the walls and paint them.
That's CSS,
those particular colors. That is CSS. Now JavaScript is like an elevator where someone comes and presses the elevator and the elevator takes them up. Okay, that's a function. So unless a language does tell a computer what to do, it is not a programming language. HTML cannot command a computer what to do.
Never.
So it is not. CSS cannot command a computer what to do. So it is never considered a programming language.
Thank you so much, Israel. Yes, very clear, very clear. So HTML only provides a skeleton and a structure for website. And then the reason why HTML is not a programming language, number one, first of all, it doesn't give options for logic and decision making. You can't use if functions stuff. 2, you can't have logics like loop. You can't have logics like functions, like interactively. HTML will do nothing like that. It only describes static content. So HTML is not a programming language. Thank you for that. So the last one I want to show you is I just want to show you an image. I didn't put it right. I was just trying to get it from here. Let me see. I downloaded some image here that I wanted to show you in a nutshell, in summary, how websites flow and the server. So let me share this. So as you can see on my screen here, so I want to show you how a website really work and everything. And so as you sit down here, we have our contents that we have worked on. We have our code that we have written and everything. Now we have a server that is sitting somewhere. We have also requests that people are making. Now, if someone goes to browse anything on any browser, they will make a request. Now, the request is when I go and says, I make a command and say, I want to go to this website, it's called google.com. So that is what we call HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol request. So this request will go on the internet and go up to the server. Now, when it reaches the server, this is where files are being stored. Now, the files, the code you're going to write, everything will be stored on some server somewhere on the internet. Now, once someone make a request from their browser, it will directly go strictly to pick, okay, someone has requested something from a particular domain called maybe google.com. So where are the files from google.com? They are in the server. Now, once the server checks and finds that, oh, we have these files, they will give a response to you. Now, for you, what you're going to do, you're going to see google.com in just a matter of seconds, not even 1 second, if your internet is fast enough. So you see the distance between here to here. Now, for your case, if you go to Facebook, anything you do on Facebook first runs to the US and comes back to you. So anything you do on Facebook runs to the US because the servers are in Oregon, the servers are in California. So because that is where the physical servers are. If you like any comment on the internet, they will first go back to the server, then returns to you very fast that you've liked a comment. So you see how fast and responsive things are. Now, in between here, in between the movement here, there's what we call, I've forgotten the name, but these are ACAs. So when you make a request, they make sure they intercept your request from here before it gets to the server. So instead of you getting content from the server, they jump it and then they give you their own content. So those people are there on the internet. So that is how the server works. So we're going to write our code, put it on the server. When the user is using it, they make a request. Let's say you want to Google someone, you want to Google a particular thing, or you're going to some blog, goes online, gets your server, and gets back to you. So that is it for tonight. So tonight has been a good session, getting the details of understanding what a website is, how it works, how it operates. And then tomorrow, I'm going to share, just right after this, I'm going to share links to everything you need to have for tomorrow's classes. Yes, Rogers. Is that, oh, was Rogers asking a question or clapping? Oh, I think he was clapping. All right. Thank you, guys. I wish you guys all the best tonight and have a good night. And I will be able to share the details in the group as well. I'll be able to share some, ins for tomorrow. I'll also share the PDF book for you to read on, and then we get started tomorrow. All right, team. Have a beautiful